Happy January 5th, JLD here, and welcome to MicroStrategy Today. In this show, I have a great clip of Michael Saylor talking about being a skeptic of Bitcoin. You don't want to miss that. We're going to do a deep dive into MicroStrategy's preferred stock offering that they announced yesterday. Some very interesting things there. Remember, this video is my opinion only. It's not financial advice. Comment below about where you're watching from. We're collecting this data. It's very fascinating. Every video, we love seeing that. And remember, MicroStrategy Today is the only daily show bringing you MicroStrategy's updates, insights, and intel 7 days a week. So snag a subscribe and join us every single day, my friends. All right, let's dive into the MSTR tracker. I'm not going to do too much of a deep dive here until probably Tuesday after we've had another day in the markets. But what is really cool is that I was able to do a deep dive interview. It went well over an hour with the creator of this tracker, Radu. So that will be coming later this week. I've got some editing and some production to do with that, but it's going to be a great interview. It'll be under my Master MicroStrategy section within this channel. So you'll see it coming out, but Radu and myself do a deep dive on every single part of this tracker. We don't leave any stone unturned. We have a lot of fun conversations. We learn more about Radu at the end, his journey, and it's a really cool one. So stick around for that. This was a great news article that I really wanted to do a deep dive on because I just really liked how they broke things down, and I think you will too. So MicroStrategy's bold move, more Bitcoin on the horizon. So the first part just kind of talks about what we all know, the 21-21 plan, the 2 billion announcement, yada, yada, yada. But then right here, key features of the offering. Let's go through this last section here. The preferred stock offering will involve one or more public underwritten offerings and is designed to attract investors with various appealing features. These may include convertibility. The preferred stock might be convertible into MicroStrategy's Class A common stock, offering flexibility for investors. Cash dividends. Investors could receive dividends, presenting an attractive income option. Investment process. The process for acquiring preferred stock is designed to be straightforward, appealing to a wide range of investors. Alternative financing initiatives. In addition to the preferred stock offering, MicroStrategy is also exploring senior convertible notes as an alternative financing method. This diversification strategy will further propel their efforts to accumulate Bitcoin, aiming for an even stronger position in the cryptocurrency market. My friends, this is just a hint of Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy continuing to work behind the scenes, doing amazing things for you and for me, these shareholders, the partners in MicroStrategy. Current Bitcoin holdings, they talk about the 446,000 Bitcoin, the implications for the currency market, cryptocurrency market, increased institutional interest. MicroStrategy's strategic moves are likely to spur greater institutional interest in Bitcoin, potentially leading to increased market stability and higher valuation. I mean, this is what Michael Saylor is doing in MicroStrategy as a whole. They are making Bitcoin plays available to institutions that otherwise don't have the ability to have exposure to Bitcoin. This is unbelievably exciting. He is the conduit. That's why he's so much more than just a Bitcoin spot ETF. MicroStrategy is the Bitcoin treasury company of the world. Exciting times. Market predictions. As more corporations follow MicroStrategy's footsteps, predictions about Bitcoin's future price stability and growth could become increasingly optimistic. Totally agree. Follow the MicroStrategy playbook or be left behind in the dust. Number 3, sustainable investment. The incorporation of features such as cash dividends and convertibility is an innovative approach that may enhance sustainable investment strategies within the cryptocurrency sector. Yes, it will. But hey, let's talk about the pros and cons. Always pros and cons. Pros. Positioning as the leading Bitcoin holder creates substantial influence in the market. Big pro for MicroStrategy. Potential to attract a diverse range of investors with various preferred stock options. Check. The sky's the limit. I mean, MicroStrategy is forging a new path, and what they're going to uncover is going to be so exciting. So again, let's start getting excited for our live watch party of the Q4 earnings report. It's going to be lit. Expanding digital asset holdings can offer long-term financial benefits, especially when it's the best preservation of capital in the world, aka Bitcoin. Cons. Market volatility could expose the company to significant financial risk. That's what this individual or this media outlet thinks is a con. You know what I think volatility is? a feature, not a bug. Volatility is vitality. So even this con, in my opinion, is a pro. Definitely in Saylor's opinion, is a pro, because volatility is what drives this shit, my friends. Over reliance on Bitcoin may become a liability if the market faces a downturn. Hey, I'm not going to lie. MicroStrategy is married to Bitcoin. As Bitcoin goes, MicroStrategy goes. I believe in the future of Bitcoin. I love the promise and the deliverance thus far on Bitcoin. And if you are also of a mindset that you understand, believe, and trust in Bitcoin, then let's just enjoy the ride, my friends. Conclusion: MicroStrategy's 2121 initiative marks a pivotal moment in the corporate adoption of Bitcoin. By prioritizing the expansion of its cryptocurrency portfolio, the company not only reinforces its leadership in the space, but also sets a benchmark for institutional investment strategies in the digital currency market. As we advance towards 2025, the implications of the strategy could resonate throughout the entire cryptocurrency ecosystem. My friends, MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor are showing the way. They are shining the lights to institutions, to other corporations, of saying, this is the way. If you don't have Bitcoin on your reserve, if you don't have it on your balance sheet, it's not in your reserves, what are you doing, my friends? ETFs are coming up that are going to require companies to have over 1,000 Bitcoin to be included in the ETF. And of course, people are going to want to be included in that ETF. Game theory, my friends, has been activated. I love this tweet by Michael Saylor. He wrote, thinking about Bitcoin. And guess what? Let's rewind almost 5 years ago. What was Michael Saylor doing? He was thinking about Bitcoin because he was realizing that MicroStrategy was at a crisis moment. He was either going to have to reinvent the company or die a slow or potentially even fast death. Well, he sat back, he thought, he remembers something about Bitcoin that, as you'll see in a future video that I'm about to share in just a couple minutes here, that he was very skeptical of. He did a deep dive. He's an incredibly smart person. And guess what? He got it. It clicked for him because he finally took the time to go down the Bitcoin rabbit hole, to spend hundreds and then thousands of hours learning Bitcoin, thinking about Bitcoin, and look at the level that he's won at over the past 4 years. And now look at the level that you and I are going to be able to win at as a result of being able to be a part of this ride. Because guess what? You only need one ace, my friends, MicroStrategy. And believe me, you have that one ace up your sleeve with MicroStrategy. I do as well. But MicroStrategy themselves, they have a lot of aces up their sleeve, and they will be releasing a lot of those aces in 2025 and above. I have a really fun personal announcement to share right now. This is from Chris M. Millis. Great dude. He's doing so much cool stuff for the MicroStrategy community. In fact, his full investment thesis right here, this link, and I will put this in the show notes. That's what I based my entire 1 hour and 40 minutes complete history of MicroStrategy on. It was because of this thesis I was able to create such an amazing presentation on MicroStrategy's complete history. So a big hat tip to Chris for this. And I used a lot of the resources that he posts here. And guess what? In his most updated list that just came out yesterday, and maybe it was even today, no, as of 5/1, 2025. So this is January 5th, 2025. So this was today, actually. I went down here and MicroStrategy Today is on that list. I am so honored. Thank you, Chris. Thank you to everybody who's watching now to help me grow this channel to the level that I have. I mean, yesterday's video has over 35,000 views, over 500 comments. So thank you for allowing me to continue to grow this channel, to get the word out about the love of our lives, at least in the financial space, MicroStrategy. Wanted to go a little bit on a deep dive here. So this was the tweet that I mentioned yesterday from Dylan that I also put in the show notes yesterday. And some of you may have gone on a deep dive, but in the comment section, a lot of people asked for and requested an actual deep dive. So I'm going to give that today. I'm not going to go through this entire tweet because I'm going to skip over a couple sections that I think are a little kind of numbery and wordy. But again, you'll have access to this whole tweet in the show notes if you so choose to do so yourself. But this is the analysis on MicroStrategy's preferred stock target raise. And, they target to capital raise up to $2 billion of preferred stock. And he wrote, this is a very long post, trigger warning. So first off, what is a preferred stock? If you want a good primer, here's the basics. And this is a link to a video from 12 years ago going through that. So what is a perpetual preferred stock and what might it mean for MicroStrategy? Well, too long didn't read. A perpetual preferred stock is a hybrid financial instrument that combines features of debt and equity, offering fixed dividend payments with no maturity date. It sits between debt and common stock on a company's capital structure, meaning preferred shareholders are paid dividends before common shareholders. No dividends for common shareholders in this case, but after debt holders. In liquidation, they also have priority over common stockholders. While preferred shareholders usually lack voting rights, they benefit from a more stable income stream and greater security in dividend payments. This structure allows companies to raise capital without diluting voting control, while offering investors a balance of income and relative safety. The most important thing to understand is that as preferred stock is perpetual, there is no lump sum principal repayment. There will be an annual dividend, and depending on the rate at which it's issued at, it is equivalent to pulling forward 10 to 20 years of buying power. At a 5% rate, you are essentially pulling forward 20 years of cash. So let's dive into the profile of preferreds. And I'm going to skip over this part here because, again, this is like the numbery and wordy part. But I'm going to go down to this section here, where this was in the Q3 earnings report. And if you watched my complete history of MicroStrategy, I go into this in depth. But you can see right here at the 0.5 level, MSTR dividend. Michael Saylor was teasing this. So I'm going to actually just jump back to the tweet now, and Dylan points this out as well. Preferred stocks are low volatility, low performance, income generating securities. Shown below is the 60-day historical volatility of a preferred stock index, 10% volatility, or about 1/10 of MicroStrategy currently. This will be the first time we are seeing what falls under the MicroStrategy dividend category that MicroStrategy teased on his Q3 earnings report. So again, this is what Michael Saylor was talking about in his Q3 earnings report, that he's going to be taking away some of the volatility for companies, institutions, nations that don't want that volatility because it's just not part of their risk profile. And he's going to give them these 0.75, 0.5, and 0.25 converts, dividends, and fixed options, and then give us, the shareholders right here, the 1.5x because we own the equity. So we're getting the benefits of their, let's just say, scaredness, let's just say timidity of volatility. If you love volatility, if I love volatility, we buy the equity, we embrace the volatility, we experience volatility, and we are rewarded as such. While these individuals, they've just got less of a volatile ride, and some of them want that and need that. So I want to keep going down here to this section. The path forward for Saylor & Company is selling volatility. This time to preferred stock investors, it's not debt that has to be paid down outside of annual dividend. And even if we generously assume they pay an average preferred rate of 6%, I would bet that they fetch below average. That would only be $120 million per year in dividends on a $2 billion raise. For a company that raised $15 billion in equity alone in 2024, it's a non-issue. We have no idea what the pricing will look like, i.e. where MSTR will place the strike or what the initial dividend rate will be. So we are just sort of approximating for now. I can't see MicroStrategy issuing preferred without a conversion option at some ratio to common stock. After all, volatility is the product and Bitcoin yield is the key performance indicator. This sentence is so important. I'm going to say it one more time, and I'm actually going to highlight it as well, because if you're really going to enjoy this ride as a MicroStrategy investor, you have to understand this. Volatility is the product. Bitcoin yield is the key performance indicator. That's what Michael Saylor is focused on. Volatility, keeping the stock volatile. Bitcoin yield, continuing to increase your Bitcoin yield as an equity holder, as a stockholder, as a shareholder in the company. Thus, given the immense theoretical value of the embedded indefinite call, it might make sense to apply a conversion ratio of less than 1.0 for every preferred share to common. And then this is kind of gets a little more numbery. So I'm going to skip down to volatility is vitality. The Treasury team has spoken at length about selling volatility only through convert issues thus far and recycling the proceeds back into BTC, which increases our Bitcoin yield. The selling of volatility is how they take the preferred market by storm. And this is what MicroStrategy is doing. They are taking every market by storm, the convertible bond market by storm, the preferred market by storm. Oh, it's going to be so amazing. Want to keep scrolling down here to the ends. So right here is time to level up to a larger pool of capital. The market for preferred stock in the US is large, and the allocator class is entirely different. with much deeper pockets. So this is what Michael Saylor is searching out, deeper pockets. And he's delivering instruments to those deeper pockets that they can invest in to benefit you and me, the actual shareholders. A question to all preferred stock buyers by force mandate. Would you like exposure to a random tranche of the 1,000th largest regional bank, utility companies, and or REITs? Or would you like low volatility, high Sharpe ratio, upside exposure to the world's preeminent Bitcoin treasury company? There's no comparison. MicroStrategy is going to dominate this game. So what does it all mean? In essence, Bitcoin has infiltrated the fixed income markets, and the dreaded uncertainty, read volatility, that every smug TradFi allocator spent the last 15 years making fun of is the very reason that these MicroStrategy prefers will likely be the top performing preferred security in the market before long, just like MicroStrategy converts and the common stock have been. MicroStrategy bears have no idea what just hit them. Oh, and don't get me started on the potential Bitcoin yield here. Done. End. Thank you, Dylan, for that amazing thing. Your Bitcoin yield, my Bitcoin yield, it's going to be amazing. MicroStrategy has already taken the convertible bond market by storm. Their blended rate for the convertible bonds at last report was higher than the Bitcoin return. It was over 90%. It's come down a little bit from there, of course, but it was insanity. And do you think they're going to do anything different for this preferred market? No, they're going to dominate it. And you're on this train, my friends. So there was a time when Michael Saylor was not on the Bitcoin train. Luckily, it was long ago, and luckily, it will never happen again, in my opinion. But I have a little clip for you from Michael Saylor about his Bitcoin ride. Michael, take it away.
You were once a skeptic of Bitcoin. You've obviously come around completely. You're now the best performing stock of the year. MicroStrategy is the largest individual entity holder of Bitcoin in the world. What would you say to the perpetual no coiners who can't reckon with this? The people like the Peter Schiffs who've been bearish on Bitcoin for the entire time, or people that called it a tulip bubble 5 times in a row since 2013. Do they have Bitcoin derangement syndrome?
I would just ignore them. Again, Harvey determined that your heart beats, and it beats blood out through the arteries and it comes back via the vein. And when he discovered the circulatory system, and that was a big breakthrough because for thousands of years, people didn't know what the heart did and they didn't believe that. And when he rolled it out to medical establishment, everybody rejected it. All the doctors rejected it, even though they could run a simple experiment to determine it. And he said, no physician, no doctor over the age of 40 will ever believe me. I said, there's just no point. Max Planck said, science advances one funeral at a time. And so I really think you've got 3 constituencies. You've got the old guard that is successful, traditional, set in their ways, and they don't need a new idea. They don't want to hear it. They created their reputation and staked it based on an old idea. They will take it to their grave. You're wasting your time. There's no point. You just should ignore them. You've got the new generation, the 20-something, the 30-somethings. The guy wants to get rich. He wants to get famous. He's got nothing. He can't afford a house. He wants a yacht. He wants respect. Okay? Everything to gain, nothing to lose. Right? Those are the people that pick up guitars and become Led Zeppelin or the Beatles. Right? I mean, it's always the young generation using the new technology to make their way in the world. That's the beauty of life. And that's not hard. You don't have to work that hard to convince them. And then you've got the middle, people that are reasonably open-minded. Over time, initially they'll be dismissive, and then they'll be less dismissive, and then they'll start to notice, and maybe their daughter or their son will tell them, or maybe they'll run into a crisis, a near-death experience like I did, and they'll have to find a new idea. Or maybe they'll be persuaded by someone they respect, and then they will gradually study it and they will flip, right? And I think you're better off to focus your time on that middle group, those who haven't really made up their mind, or they have reasonable open minds, and maybe they have a motive, like they have like, how am I going to 10x my value, right? The best run companies in the world that everybody loves, they probably won't switch first because they have more to lose than they have to gain.
Right.
It's the zombie companies that are forsaken by the market, that no one cares about, that are competing against Microsoft and against Apple or against Google, that are kind of in a hopeless situation, but not dead yet. Now, you're not dead yet.
Mm-hmm.
I have a solution for you. Right. And I think that's the ones that you focus on.
And there you have it. Another MicroStrategy Today coming at you. And I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, comment below. I want to know where you're watching from. We're collecting all this data from every individual video, so make that happen. Quick little investment updates. Here's myself. I am investing $210 every single trading day into MicroStrategy, putting my money where my mouth is, literally 7 days a week. I can't unfortunately buy on Saturdays and Sundays. I wish I could. But this is what it looks like so far. My two buys for 1, 2, and 1, 3 are right here. We're at right now a total gain of $53 or a 10.32% gain. Tomorrow I'll be buying $210 more to DCA in, and we're having some fun. So hit me up in the comment section if you're part of the DCA gang doing $1 a day, $1 a week, $1 a month. The dollar amount doesn't matter, but it's the fact that we are continuously dollar cost averaging into what I believe is going to be the best performing asset of our generation. Time will tell, of course. And of course, as always, you can check out the MSTR Crew, or right below this video, there's a tab that says join. We meet weekly to have conversations with each other about MicroStrategy, Bitcoin, and a lot of other cool things. And there's a lot of other fun things that happen within that group as well, some in real life meetups. So click that join tab to learn more. And as Michael Saylor is known to say, and I've said it too, there is no second best.